Hello and welcome back to World 360. The US forces on Wednesday struck two boats allegedly carrying drugs, but this time in the Pacific. Five people have been killed, and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said that no US forces were harmed in these strikes. US Defense Secretary on Wednesday afternoon, while posting on X the videos of two strikes, wrote that the vessels were known by our intelligence to be involved in illicit narcotics smuggling and were transiting along a known narco trafficking route and were carrying narcotics. He even added that just as Al Qaeda wages war on our homeland, these cartels are waging war on our border and our people. The so-called anti-drug campaign by US began on September 2nd, but until this week, these operations were in the Caribbean and centered around Venezuela. Since early September, however, the US has been expanding its anti-narcotics campaign. The latest are the 8th and 9th strikes by US forces against alleged drug boats. These strikes drew a sharp response from Colombia, which said that the US action was like applying death penalty in a territory that is not theirs. Colombian President Petro had accused the US of killing a Colombian citizen in two earlier strikes, one on 15 September and the other on 3rd October. Even earlier this week, Trump had accused Petro of promoting drug production in Colombia. He further halted US payments and subsidies to the country and called him an illegal drug leader. Remember, the strikes in Caribbean has also led to a bitter face-off between Venezuela and US. These strikes have led to a larger debate over its legality in the US, but the White House has so far maintained that these strikes were for self-defense and therefore are legal. We will get you more on this developing story. Now let's come to our next story. You must have known the widely internationally acclaimed movie and one of the highest grossing Malayalam films released in 2024, Adu Jeevitam, The Goat Life. It depicted the brutalities of the kafala system of Saudi Arabia in its rawest and blatant form. Well, Saudi Arabia has finally and officially abolished the 50-year-old kafala labor sponsorship system in a landmark decision. What this will do is give more rights to migrant workers, and it will also impact 2.5 million Indians. This reform is yet another step in Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030 plan to modernize the economy. We will tell you about the alternative system that have now come in just a bit, but first let's understand what kafala system is and why it has been termed modern day slavery. Kafala system was introduced in 1950s to regulate the influx of foreign labor. Under this system, workers who wished to work in Saudi Arabia needed to have a Saudi sponsor known as kafil. This system gave kafil sweeping control over workers' life. Under this contract, the migrant worker could only work for a specific employer during the stay in the country. The worker were also not allowed to switch jobs without the sponsor's consent. These sponsors would control the workers' visas, job changes, travel, and residence permits. The system came under sharp criticism before the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Now, under the new contract system, workers would have greater mobility to switch jobs if faced with poor conditions, less employer control to curb wage theft and passport confiscation. It would also include the freer labor movement that could lead to fairer pay between working conditions, and workers would have the liberty to travel. Bahrain abolished kafala in 2009, UAE eased the system in 2015. Variants of kafala still exist in Kuwait, Oman, Lebanon, and Qatar. Now let's shift focus to Russia-Ukraine war. Russia said on Wednesday it had conducted major nuclear drill which had the tried participation. This came on the same day as the news of Trump-Putin Budapest summit having been indefinitely delayed. Russia regularly conducts readiness exercises as part of its nuclear deterrent. On Wednesday, Putin said in a video conference with the top military brass, "Today we are conducting a I want to emphasize planned nuclear forces command and control exercise." The exercise involved three components of the nuclear triad: land, sea, and air. It also featured intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of striking the United States. Russia's defense ministry said long-range Tu-22 M3 bombers flew over the Baltic Sea and were accompanied by fighter jets from foreign like NATO countries. It said that the exercise tested the skills of its military command structures. Meanwhile, Sweden signed a letter of intent to potentially supply up to 150 domestically produced Gripen fighter jets to Ukraine. This move came after Swedish Prime Minister Kristersson met President Zelensky for a talks in Linköping in southern Sweden and visited Saab AB, aerospace and defense company, which is maker of Global Eye surveillance aircraft, missile systems, and other equipment. Gripen is a rugged and relatively low-cost alternative aircraft such as the US F-35. These aircrafts are designed for rapid refueling and maintenance in harsh cold environment. If the deal goes ahead, it would be Ukraine's first acquisition of new-built fighter jets since gaining independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. That's it for today. I'm Arnika Dhawan. Thanks for watching The Print.